but also the international community. We just heard in the past few minutes that the United Nations has something like 30 emergency response teams on standby, and the Russians are also saying that they have teams on standby as well.
That's right, yeah. The international response to the 2004 tsunami was one of the most memorable aspects of that terrible event, and presumably, as you're saying, that there are teams around the world on standby to help in this instance. The other international aspect of this is the still-to-come effect of the tsunami as it makes its way across the Pacific. We're being told, for example, the Philippine Civil Defense Authority has told people to evacuate coastal homes. Same sorts of warnings going out in low-lying areas in Hawaii. The Pacific Tsunami Warning Center saying that the first waves should reach Hawaii at 13:07 GMT. That's just over 4.5 hours time from now. Further north in Russia, the Kuril Islands, they're subject of a territorial dispute. At least 4 of them are between Russia and Japan. But there are warnings happening there as well. 11,000 people told to evacuate. A spokeswoman for the emergency ministry there saying that they're expecting a tsunami of about 2 meters to reach there, although she wasn't expecting a huge amount of damage to become of that. And I've just been past now another line from the Agence France-Presse news agency saying that Japan is warning of an imminent strong quake on the northeastern Honshu Island. That's the same island that we're looking at now that has been swamped, at least its eastern coast has, by these tsunami waves. Whether this is a less powerful aftershock, whether it's another earthquake of similar proportions, we don't know, but that is the latest. I've just been past that line. Japan warns of an imminent strong quake on northeastern Honshu Island.
And we're also hearing here, Harry, that the tsunami warning has been extended to the Pacific Basin. That's coming from one of the United States government agencies saying that the tsunami warning is extended to the Pacific Basin. Now, one of the more alarming things we heard about all these warnings that are being issued around the Pacific Rim is the one we heard from our correspondent, Steph Varson, in Indonesia. She's in Jakarta, and she was telling us that in some of the outlying islands which make up Indonesia, it would be very difficult to communicate with people who live on those islands because they're in such remote areas.
Well, very much so, and there was a tsunami, not on this scale, but there was an earthquake and tsunami towards the end of last year off the southern coast of Indonesia, and just that happened. The people there didn't get a warning. In fact, there were problems with the warning system in the first place, let alone trying to get through to those people who live in these remote communities. So as good as the Pacific-wide system of buoys is, as accurate as the readings that we are already getting are, the last edge of this spider's web of telecommunications networks, that's always the problem, trying to get to the people in the most remote areas who are obviously will be the first ones to feel the effects of any tsunami heading their way.
And I guess even more worrying now for all these countries along the Pacific, especially for Japan, is this warning coming from the Japanese that there could be yet another earthquake, this one also possibly as powerful as the one we've just experienced.
Well, yes, who knows how powerful it'll be. They're just saying an imminent strong quake. Now, the Prime Minister, when he made his address recently in the last hour or so, he was saying that all Japanese should remain vigilant and remain cautious, and they should listen to the TV and radio announcements. Obviously there he was giving warning of a potential future warning, and that warning has now come, that there's an imminent strong quake on Honshu Island. We were speaking earlier to a reporter in Tokyo who was telling us of her own experience of the quake, and she said that a friend of hers had heard a warning on TV only a minute before the earthquake happened. So if indeed this warning is talking of an imminent quake, it could be very imminent indeed, and so we'll have to stand by and see in the next few minutes whether there is any more report of another earthquake.
And that speech that you were talking about, that was made by the Japanese Prime Minister in it, he also said that the government had set up this emergency disaster